Battlefield 6 player count has dropped once again, and it actually is lower than Call of Duty's player count now on Steam. However, this isn't actually the full truth. Battlefield has more players overall within the last 24 hours, but in concurrent players it has a few thousand less, but it is Battlefield's own fault that it is going down this direction. So how did we get to this point? How did we go from one of the best selling Battlefield games of all time back down to nearly getting beaten by Call of Duty? Here's a few reasons why. DICE reluctantly wanting to add an official server browser. Only maps we have for All Out Warfare is Operation Firestorm, Myrick Valley and Liberation Peak that actually play somewhat reasonable. The other ones like Blackwell Fields just play absolutely horrible. Literally one of the worst maps in the game. This map needs severely overhauled because these are the only 4 maps in the game that allow you to play with tanks, jeeps, helicopters and also jets. Battlefield adding skins that don't align with Battlefield's identity. They look goofy and they look like something from 2042. Team balancing is a massive issue in this game. The team balancing is probably one of the worst I've ever seen. Redsec launching in an absolute state. 30Hz servers does not cut it. It is not smooth and it definitely should have been delayed or should have never been created at all in my opinion. But the biggest nail in the coffin is the Season 1 live service content. There's just not enough content getting put out. Like Season 1 was a disaster. The first map they gave us was Blackwell Fields. Worst decision. Whoever did that, poor decision making there. Should have been Eastwood. Eastwood's actually a very good map. The third map was a snow version of Empire State. That's not new content. Blackwell Fields, one of the worst maps in Battlefield history, and basically we've only got one new map. We've got a handful of new weapons. There's some new attachments. I don't really consider that content in my opinion, and we get maybe 1 or 2 new melee weapons and 1 new vehicle. It's just not enough really in my opinion. I think the content is severely lacking in this department, and I definitely think that what we used to get in previous Battlefields like Battlefield 3 and 4, like 4 new maps that were brand new, 10 brand new weapons, and also maybe 1 or 2 new vehicles, and honestly that content kept us going for a few months. But it's not just about the quantity of the content, it's also about the quality of the content. That's just mostly important. But the quality of content we're getting for Battlefield 6 is not good quality content. We literally got 3 maps, and basically out of the 3 maps we technically only got 1 because Eastwood was the only good thing that came from Season 1. We got a handful of new weapons and we got a new vehicle. Other than that, that is not enough to keep us going every 3 to 4 months, DICE. That is just not good enough. Battlefield 6 has the potential, but whether DICE will deliver in Season 2, I'm not sure. Like I always say, and I will keep saying this, Battlefield needs to go back to premium. Battlefield 3 premium and Battlefield 4 premium were quality content. The map packs were amazing. Let's compare Battlefield 3's first DLC, which was Back to Karklang. This game came out 15 years ago and it's given us more content than Battlefield 6, which is quite concerning. Back to Karklang introduced 4 new multiplayer maps, which were all brilliant, 10 brand new weapons, and also 3 new vehicles. Compare that to Battlefield 6 Season 1. Season 1 introduces 2 new maps because Empire State is a snow map, it's not new content, 5 new weapons, 1 new vehicle, some attachments that no one even cared about, 1 melee weapon not really cared about, and some game modes that no one's ever played, and if they have, they played at least 1 time and that's it. This is a downgrade. Compared to 15 years ago, 15 years ago was peak pinnacle Battlefield. That is content that we should be getting right now as a live service game. If your competitors like Call of Duty, our creators, and other companies out there can push out just as much content and even more, well then there's really no excuse for DICE to make any sort of excuses, especially with how well Battlefield 6 is performing and selling and making EA a lot of money. Over my time of being alive and being a gamer, I would prefer to pay for something rather than get something for free, because if you get any content for free as a gamer, the content is watered down and there's not as much effort put into it because there's not much of an expectation from the actual game companies themselves or the developers. They're not as invested in the content from what I've noticed. But if you pay for a seasonal pass and you get premium, those content for that maps, weapons and vehicles, they're authentic, they're really well designed, there's more love and energy put into it. I don't know what's going on, but the live service for Battlefield does not work and I don't enjoy it personally. I think Battlefield 6 is an amazing game. I think it has a lot of potential to be one of the best. However, it is so held back, the lack of content, but not even just the lack of content. The content we get isn't even that good, and that's not even discussing the bugs and the issues that is surrounding Battlefield 6. It's like an unpolished diamond. There's potential there to be amazing. However, DICE refuses to polish the diamond, unfortunately. But I guess only time will tell. Battlefield 4 did the exact same thing as well. We got 10 new weapons, 4 new maps, and 2 new vehicles, the dirt bike and the bomber. However, I guess we'll have to wait and see what the future holds for Battlefield in terms of the Season 2 and the rest of the roadmap ahead. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. If you liked the video, leave a like. If you didn't like it, leave a dislike. And I'll see you guys all in the next Battlefield video.